My wife smiled while signing the divorce papers. She didn't know the doctor had already told me this. The smile that didn't belong. My name is Thayer Blackwell. 2 weeks ago, I woke up in a hospital bed with machines breathing for me. Today, my wife smiled while signing our divorce papers. The room smelled like bleach and fear. White walls, beeping monitors. A tray table covered in consent forms I couldn't read without squinting. She stood at the foot of my bed. Hair perfect, lipstick fresh, like she had somewhere better to be. "I brought the papers," she said. "Her name is Vela. Vela Blackwell. Soon to be Vela Crane again." I stared at her. My chest hurt. Not from the accident. From the way she looked at me like I was already gone. She placed the folder on the tray. Opened it slowly. Each page crisp and new. "I know this isn't easy," she said softly. "But we both know this is best." Best for who, I thought. I didn't say it out loud. My throat was too dry. My hands shook. She watched me struggle to sit up. Didn't help, just waited. "Sign here," she said, pointing with a manicured nail. "And here, initial here." Her voice was calm, practiced, like she'd rehearsed this. I looked at the papers. My vision blurred, not from tears, from the morphine still dripping into my veins. "Vela," I whispered. She leaned in. "Yes? Why now?" She smiled again. That same soft, kind smile that used to make me feel safe. "Because you're stronger than you look, Thayer. You'll get through this." Then she handed me the pen. The sound of the pen. The pen was cold, heavy. I held it between fingers that barely worked. The accident left nerve damage in my left hand. The doctor said it might heal. Might not. Vela watched me struggle. She didn't rush me. Just stood there, patient, like she had all the time in the world. I pressed the pen to the paper. The scratch of ink was the loudest sound in the room. She smiled wider when I finished the first signature. "Good," she said. "One more page." I flipped to the next section. My eyes caught a few words. Irreconcilable differences. Division of assets. Waiver of spousal support. I signed. She took the papers immediately, folded them, slid them into her purse. "Thank you," she said. 2 words. That's all. Thank you. Like I had just held the door open for her. Like this was nothing. She turned toward the door. "Vela." She stopped, didn't turn around. "Are you coming back?" She paused. Then, I softly. "I don't think that's a good idea." The door clicked shut behind her. I sat there, alone. The machines kept beeping. My heart kept beating. But something inside me had stopped. "You're stronger than you look." Those words echoed in my head for hours. "You're stronger than you look." She said it kindly, almost lovingly. But there was something underneath it. Something I didn't catch until she was gone. Relief. She wasn't comforting me. She was comforting herself. I stared at the ceiling. White tiles. One had a small brown stain in the corner. I counted the dots in the tiles. 27. The nurse came in, changed my IV, asked if I needed anything. I shook my head. She looked at me the way people look at abandoned dogs. "Your wife seemed nice," she said quietly. I didn't respond. She left. I replayed the moment over and over. Or the smile, the tone, the way she said, "You'll get through this," like she wouldn't be there to see it. She wasn't sad. She was free. The diagnosis she didn't hear. Dr. Ansel Kaur came back 20 minutes after Vela left. He was older, gray hair, thick glasses, the kind of doctor who never smiled unless the news was good. He wasn't smiling. "Mr. Blackwell," he said, pulling up a chair. "We need to discuss your recovery." I nodded. He opened a tablet, scrolled through charts and scans. The spinal injury is serious, but not permanent. With physical therapy, you should regain most function within 6 to 8 months. I exhaled. That was good news. But, he continued, there's something else. My chest tightened. During the MRI, we found an irregularity, a small mass near your liver. I stared at him. Is it cancer? He shook his head. No, it's benign. But it's been there a while, and it's complicated. He explained in terms I barely understood. Something about blood flow, surgical risk, legal implications. The injury and the mass together create a medical condition that affects your legal status, especially in matters of contract law and estate planning. I blinked. What does that mean? He leaned forward. It means any legal agreement signed under duress or without full medical disclosure can be contested, especially if the other party knew about your condition and used it to their advantage. I felt my pulse quicken. Did my wife know about this? Dr. Kaur looked at his notes. She was here when we scheduled the MRI. She left before we discussed the results. I sat back. She didn't wait. She didn't ask. She just smiled. And left. A clock inside my chest, doctor. Kaur kept talking, but I stopped hearing him. All I could think about was her smile. The way she timed it. The way she hurried me through the signatures. The way she said, "You're stronger than you look," and walked out before the doctor came back. She knew. Maybe not the details, but she knew something was coming. Mr. Blackwell? I looked up. Dr. Kaur was watching me carefully. Did you sign anything today? Legally binding documents? I nodded slowly. Divorce papers. He didn't react, just wrote something down. I'm going to document this conversation, and I'm going to recommend a lawyer review those documents before they're finalized. Why? He closed his tablet. Because medical incapacity is a real thing. And if someone took advantage of you in this state, there are protections. I stared at him. She didn't force me to sign. No, he said quietly. But did she give you all the information you needed to make that choice? I didn't answer, because we both knew the truth. The silence after that night. I waited for my phone to buzz. A text, a call, anything, nothing. I checked my messages. Our last conversation was from 3 days ago. Her. I'll visit tomorrow. Me. Okay, that was it. No, I love you. No, hang in there. Just logistics. I scrolled back further. Weeks, months. Every conversation was short, polite, distant. When did we stop talking? When did she stop asking how I was? I couldn't remember. The phone felt heavy in my hand. I wanted to call her, to ask her why. But I didn't. Because part of me already knew. The nurse who looked away. The night nurse was named Derry. She was young, quiet, always moved like she didn't want to disturb anyone. She came in to check my vitals around midnight. I was awake, staring at the ceiling. Can't sleep? She asked. I shook my head. She adjusted the blanket, checked the IV line. Your wife, she said carefully. She didn't stay long. I looked at her. No, she didn't. Derry hesitated. Then, I'm sorry, that's hard. She said it like she'd seen it before. Does this happen a lot? I asked. She paused. What? People leaving when someone's sick? She looked away. More than you'd think. She finished her checks and moved toward the door. Derry, she turned. Am I going to be okay? She smiled. A real one, not like Vela's. Yeah, you are, but it's going to hurt first. She left. I believed her. The marriage that suddenly made sense. I couldn't sleep, so I thought. About Vela. About us. We met 6 years ago, at a conference. She worked in marketing. I ran a small consulting firm. We clicked immediately. She was smart, funny, ambitious. We married a year later. For the first 2 years, it was good. We traveled, we laughed, we built a life. Then I started the business, a tech consulting firm. Small at first, but it grew fast. Vela helped. She rebranded us, managed clients, handled contracts. I trusted her completely. We became partners, in business, in life. But somewhere along the way, the marriage became background noise. Late nights became normal. Separate bedrooms became practical. Conversations became meetings. I told myself it was temporary, that once the business stabilized, we'd reconnect. But we never did. And now, lying here, I realized something. She didn't leave because of the accident. She left because she was already gone. The accident just gave her permission. The visitor I didn't expect. The next morning, someone knocked. Not a nurse, not a doctor. A woman in a gray suit, clipboard in hand. "Mr. Blackwell?" I nodded. "I'm Leora Venn, hospital social worker. I'm here to help coordinate your discharge and recovery plan." She sat down without waiting for permission. "Do you have family nearby? Someone who can assist with physical therapy? Transportation?" I hesitated. "My wife and I just separated." She wrote something down. No judgment, just facts. "Anyone else? Parents? Siblings?" "My parents are dead. No siblings." She nodded. "Friends?" I thought about it. My friends were business contacts, people I networked with, not people I called at 2 a.m. "Not really." Leora looked up. "Okay. And then we'll need to set you up with in-home care, and I'll connect you with a legal advocate." "Why legal?" She met my eyes. "Because you're vulnerable right now, and people in vulnerable positions need protection." She didn't say it, but I heard it. She meant Vela, the first decision. After Leora left, I made a choice. I wasn't going to tell Vela what the doctor said. Not about the mass, not about the legal protections, not about any of it. If she wanted to walk away thinking I was weak and broken, fine. Let her think that, because something told me she needed me weak. She needed me quiet. She needed me to just disappear. And I wanted to know why. So I picked up my phone, opened my email, and sent a message to my lawyer. "Need to talk, urgent, don't contact my wife." Then I waited, got a quiet investigation. My lawyer's name is Cadence Rourke. She's sharp, ruthless, the kind of person who reads contracts for fun. She called me within an hour. "Thayer, what's going on?" I told her everything, the accident, the divorce papers, the medical diagnosis, the timing. She was quiet for a long moment. "Did you sign already?" "Yes." "Damn it." I heard her typing. "Okay, don't panic. If you signed under medical duress, we might be able to void it. But I need documentation, medical records, timeline, everything." "I'll get it." "Good. And Thayer?" "Yeah?" "Don't talk to Vela. Don't text her. Don't engage. If she's setting something up, we don't want to tip her off." I swallowed. "You think she's setting something up?" Cadence paused. "I think people don't smile during divorces unless they're winning something." She hung up. I sat there, staring at my phone. Then I started requesting documents. The money trail. It took 3 days to get the bank statements. Cadence had them sent directly to her office. She called me after reviewing them. "Thayer, we have a problem." My stomach dropped. "What kind of problem?" "Your business account, the one tied to your consulting firm. There have been transfers." "What kind of transfers?" "Large ones, to a secondary account, one you didn't open." I sat up. Pain shot through my back. "How much?" "Over 6 months? Nearly $340,000. I couldn't breathe. "Who authorized that?" "Vela. She's listed as co-manager on the business account." I closed my eyes. "Can we reverse it?" "Not without proving fraud, and that's going to be hard." "Why?" "Because technically she had legal access, unless we can prove intent to deceive." I felt sick. "Keep digging." "I will." She hung up. I stared at the wall. $340,000. That wasn't careless. That was planned. The business I trusted her with our company was called Apex Consulting Group. I founded it. But Vela built the client relationships. She handled contracts, negotiations, partnerships. I trusted her. Why wouldn't I? She was my wife. But now, lying here, I started seeing things differently. The late meetings, the business trips, the new clients she never introduced me to. I opened my laptop, slowly. My hands still shook. I logged into our company portal, and I started reading. Contracts I'd never seen, partnerships I didn't remember approving. One name kept appearing. Callum Drake, consultant, financial advisor, based in the city. I didn't know him, but Vela did. His name was on 12 different contracts, and every single one of them had her signature. Not mine. The lawyer's pause. I sent the contracts to Cadence. She called back within the hour. Thayer, who the hell is Callum Drake? I don't know. Well, you should, because he's listed as a partner on 3 of your largest accounts. My chest tightened. That's not possible. I never approved that. Are you sure? Because your wife's signature is on every document. And there's a clause here that says she has full authority to act on behalf of the company. I felt cold. I didn't sign that. Cadence was quiet. Thayer, did you ever give Vela power of attorney? No, never. Then we need to figure out how she got it. She paused. And Thayer? Yeah? This changes everything. This changes everything. Cadence explained it slowly. If Vela had been acting as my legal representative without proper authorization, every contract she signed was void. But proving that would require documents I didn't have. We need to find out if she forged your signature, or if there's a document you signed that you don't remember. I thought back. Years of paperwork, late nights, signing things she handed me. I might have signed something, I admitted. Then we need to find it. She sighed. But here's the good news. Your medical condition gives us leverage. How? Because if you were mentally or physically impaired when you signed that divorce agreement, it's voidable. And if Vela knew about your condition and used it to her advantage, that's fraud. I felt a spark of hope. So we can fight this. Yes, but it's going to get ugly. I didn't care. So do it. The affair that wasn't careless. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about Callum Drake. So I did what anyone would do. I searched for him online, LinkedIn, corporate filings, news articles. He was real. Mid-40s, charming smile, expensive suit in every photo. He ran a financial consulting firm, specialized in corporate restructuring, and he had one very notable client, Apex Consulting Group, my company. I clicked through his profile, his posts, his connections, and then I saw it. A photo from 8 months ago, a corporate event, Vela standing next to him, both holding champagne glasses. The caption, excited to partner with Apex Consulting on this new chapter. New chapter. I felt my hands curl into fists. I kept scrolling. More photos, more events. Always together, always smiling. Not like lovers, like conspirators. Anar, the man behind the curtain. I sent Cadence the photos. She didn't call. She showed up. At the hospital. At 9 p.m. She walked in like she owned the place. Laptop under her arm. We need to talk. She pulled up a chair, opened her laptop. Callum Drake isn't just a consultant. He's a corporate raider. What does that mean? It means he specializes in taking over struggling companies. Legally. He finds weak points, exploits them, then restructures the company under new ownership. I stared at her. Our company isn't struggling. She looked at me. It is now. She turned the screen toward me. Financial reports, tax filings, debt statements. Vela's been moving money out of Apex for months, into holding accounts, shell companies, And guess who's listed as the financial manager? Callum Drake. She nodded. They're not having an affair, but they're running a con. The divorce was a deadline. Cadence laid it out. Vela and Callum had been systematically draining the company. But they couldn't take full control while I was still legally in charge. The divorce wasn't personal. It was procedural. She needed you out of the picture, Cadence said, and the accident gave her the perfect opportunity. But why rush? Why now? Cadence pulled up another document. Because there's a shareholder meeting in 2 weeks, and if you're not there to vote, Vela becomes the majority shareholder by default. I felt my blood run cold. She's taking the company. Yep. Can we stop it? Cadence closed her laptop. Yes, but we have to move fast. The smile explained. I finally understood. The smile, the kindness, the "you're stronger than you look." It wasn't compassion. It was confidence. She thought she'd won. She thought I was too weak, too broken, too defeated to fight back. And for a moment, I almost believed her. But lying there, in that hospital bed, I made a decision. I wasn't going to fight back. Not yet. I was going to let her think she'd won. And then I was going to take everything. The second decision, I called Cadence. I want you to file a motion to delay the shareholder meeting. On what grounds? Medical incapacity. Say I'm unable to attend due to my condition. She paused. That'll buy us time, but it'll also tip them off. Good. Thayer. Let them panic. Let them make mistakes. She was quiet. You sure about this? I looked at the ceiling. Yeah, I'm sure. Because I wasn't the man Vela thought I was. I was the man she forgot I could be. The man who looked defeated. I was discharged from the hospital 2 days later. The nurses helped me into a wheelchair, handed me a folder of instructions. Leora, the social worker, arranged for in-home care. You'll have a physical therapist 3 times a week, and a nurse will check on you daily. I nodded. Thank you. She smiled. You're going to be okay, Mr. Blackwell. I believed her. I went home, to an apartment I barely recognized. Vela had already been here. Her clothes were gone, her books, her perfume. The only thing left was a note on the kitchen counter. I'll send someone for the rest. Take care of yourself. V, I crumpled it. Then I called Cadence. I'm home. Good, now the real work begins. The signature. She didn't read. Cadence came over that night. She brought files, contracts, legal briefs. We need to go through every document you signed, every agreement, every clause. I nodded. We worked for hours, and then she stopped. Thayer, look at this. She pointed to a clause buried in the divorce agreement. Section 12, medical contingency. I squinted. What about it? She read it aloud. In the event that either party is diagnosed with a condition that affects their mental or physical capacity within 30 days of signing this agreement, the agreement is subject to review and potential nullification. I stared at her. I didn't write that. No, but your lawyer did. Standard boilerplate for high-asset divorces. I felt my heart race. So the divorce isn't final? She smiled. Not if we can prove you were incapacitated. The clause buried deep. We filed the motion the next morning. Cadence submitted my medical records. Doctor, Anacor's testimony, the timeline. And we waited. Vela's lawyer responded within 24 hours. A motion to dismiss. This is a delay tactic. Mr. Blackwell signed willingly and with full knowledge. Cadence fired back. Mr. Blackwell was under severe physical and emotional duress. His medical condition was deliberately concealed from him by the opposing party. The judge scheduled a hearing. 2 weeks out, the same day as the shareholder meeting. Vela had to choose. Fight the divorce, or take the company. She couldn't do both. Recovery was my cover. While the lawyers fought, I focused on recovery. Physical therapy, 3 times a week. It hurt, every session, every movement. But I pushed through, because I needed to be strong, not just physically, mentally. The therapist's name was Erin. Young, patient, never asked questions. You're doing great, she said after a session. I didn't feel great, but I nodded anyway. Thanks. She packed up her equipment. You'll be walking soon, I can tell. I looked at her. How? She smiled. Because you're fighting. The doctor became my witness. Dr. Kaur agreed to testify. Cadence prepped him over the phone. Just tell them what you told me, the diagnosis, the timeline, the fact that Mrs. Blackwell left before hearing the results. I can do that. Good, because this whole case hinges on you. After the call, Dr. Kaur visited me at home. How are you feeling? He asked. Better. He checked my vitals, reviewed my progress. You're healing well, faster than expected. I nodded. He sat down. Mr. Blackwell, I want you to know what your wife did. It wasn't right. I looked at him. You think she knew? He paused. I think she chose not to know, and that's worse. The company started asking questions. The shareholder meeting delay caused chaos. Clients started calling, asking questions. What's going on with Apex? Is the company stable? Should we be concerned? Vela tried to control the narrative. She sent out an email. Due to unforeseen circumstances, our CEO is taking a temporary leave. Operations will continue as normal under interim leadership. But it didn't work, because Cadence leaked the truth. Not to the press, to the clients. She sent a carefully worded letter. We are investigating financial irregularities within Apex Consulting. We recommend reviewing all recent contracts and transactions. 3 clients pulled out within a week. Vela was panicking. The lover started panicking. Callum Drake reached out to me. An email. Professional. Calm. Mr. Blackwell, I'd like to discuss the future of Apex. Perhaps we can find a resolution that benefits everyone. I didn't respond. He tried again. I understand there's been some confusion. I'd like to clarify my role and ensure there are no misunderstandings. Still nothing. Then he called. I let it go to voicemail. Thayer, it's Callum. Listen, I think we got off on the wrong foot. I'm not your enemy. Let's talk. Man to man. I deleted it. Cadence smiled when I told her. Good. Let him sweat. The house she took Vela moved fast. She'd already taken the house. Our house. A modern condo downtown. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Minimalist furniture. We bought it together. But only her name was on the deed. Another thing I'd signed without reading. She redecorated immediately. New couch, new art, new everything. Like erasing me. I saw photos on social media, her friends congratulating her on the new space. She posted a caption. Fresh starts, new energy, finally breathing again. I stared at it. Then I called Cadence. The house, can we get it back? She paused. Maybe, if we can prove it was purchased with marital assets. Do it. The court date. She wasn't afraid of. The hearing arrived. I dressed carefully, suit, tie, wheelchair polished. Cadence met me outside the courthouse. You ready? I nodded. We went inside. Vela was already there. She wore white, a blazer, heels. She smiled when she saw me. That same smile, confident, unbothered. She thought she'd already won. Cadence leaned in. Remember, stay calm. Let me do the talking. I nodded. The judge entered, and everything changed. Cadence opened with the medical records. Your Honor, Mr. Blackwell was diagnosed with a serious medical condition the same day he signed the divorce papers. A condition that affects his legal capacity. Vela's lawyer stood. Objection. Mr. Blackwell was fully conscious and willing. The judge looked at Cadence. Do you have evidence to the contrary? She slid a folder across the table. Dr. Ansel Kaur's testimony, medical records, and security footage from the hospital showing Mrs. Blackwell leaving before the diagnosis was disclosed. The judge opened the file. Read silently. Vela's smile faded. Just a little. The courtroom was silent. The judge read page after page. Dr. Kaur's notes, the MRI results, the timeline. Finally, he looked up. Mrs. Blackwell, were you aware of your husband's medical condition when you presented the divorce papers? Vela's lawyer stood. My client was not informed of any. The judge held up a hand. I asked Mrs. Blackwell. Vela stood, calm, controlled. No, Your Honor, I was not aware. The judge looked at the security footage timestamp. You left the hospital at 2:47 p.m. The diagnosis was given at 3:10 p.m. He looked at her. Why didn't you wait? She hesitated. I had another appointment. More important than your husband's medical results? Silence. The judge closed the file. I'm issuing a temporary stay on the divorce pending further investigation. Vela's face went white. The judge continued. Furthermore, I'm ordering a full financial audit of Apex Consulting Group. All assets are frozen until the investigation is complete. Vela's lawyer shot to his feet. Your Honor, that's standard procedure in cases of potential fraud. He looked at me. Mr. Blackwell, do you consent to this audit? I nodded. Yes, Your Honor. He banged the gavel. Court adjourned. Vela didn't move. She just stared at me. For the first time, I saw fear in her eyes. The audit took 2 weeks. Forensic accountants went through everything, every transaction, every transfer, every contract, and they found it all. The shell companies, the offshore accounts, the forged signatures. Cadence called me with the results. Thayer, it's worse than we thought. How bad? She didn't just steal from you. She stole from the clients, inflated invoices, fake expenses. Callum was taking a 30% cut. I felt sick. How much total? Over $900,000. I closed my eyes. What happens now? Criminal charges? Fraud? Embezzlement? Conspiracy? She paused. Thayer, she's going to prison. Callum Drake was arrested 3 days later. At his office, in front of his staff. The news covered it. Local consultant charged in corporate fraud scheme. He didn't fight it. He took a plea deal, testified against Vela, gave them everything, emails, recordings, financial records. He threw her under the bus to save himself, and she knew it. The next hearing was different. Vela walked in without her lawyer. She'd fired him, couldn't afford him anymore. She sat alone, hands folded, face pale. The judge read the charges. Mrs. Blackwell, you are charged with 14 counts of fraud, embezzlement, and conspiracy. She didn't react. He continued. Do you understand these charges? She nodded. Yes. Her voice was barely a whisper. For the first time, she looked at me. Really looked. And the smile was gone. After the hearing, Cadence pulled me aside. They're offering her a deal. 7 years if she pleads guilty. I stared at her. What do you think? She shrugged. It's up to you. You're the victim here. I thought about everything she'd done, everything she'd taken. But I didn't feel angry. I felt tired. Tell them I'll accept the plea. On one condition. What? She has to admit what she did. Publicly, in writing. Cadence smiled. I'll make it happen. The settlement was finalized a week later. Vela agreed to plead guilty. In exchange, I agreed not to pursue additional civil charges. But there was one more thing. I offered her something no one expected. I agreed to cover her legal fees. Cadence thought I was insane. Why would you do that? I looked at her. Because I want this over, and I want her to know I'm not doing this out of hate. Then why? Because I want to be able to move on. Abbas, and I can't do that if I'm still fighting. She stared at me, then nodded. Okay, I'll drop the papers. The final condition. Vela had to write a statement, a full confession, in her own words. It would be submitted to the court, made public continue 11:59 a.m. She fought it, but her lawyer told her she had no choice. Either you write it or you go to trial, and you'll lose. She wrote it, 2 pages, single-spaced. I read it in Cadence's office. She admitted everything, the affair, the fraud, the planning. She admitted she'd used my condition against me, that she'd smiled because she thought she'd won. At the end, she wrote one line. I'm sorry. I folded the paper. Good enough. I went back to see Dr. Kaur one last time. He was in his office, reading charts. Mr. Blackwell, good to see you. I sat down. I wanted to thank you. He shook his head. You don't need to thank me. I just told the truth. You did more than that. He smiled. How are you feeling? Better? Stronger? He nodded. I'm glad you waited. I looked at him. Waited for what? To fight back. A lot of people would have reacted immediately, but you were patient, strategic. He leaned back. That takes strength. I smiled. I learned that from you. 6 months later, I walked out of physical therapy. No wheelchair, no cane, just me. Aaron clapped. You did it. I smiled. Yeah, I did. I went home, to a new apartment, smaller, quieter. I sold the company, used the money to start over, a new business, a new life. I didn't hear from Vela again. She served her sentence. Got out early for good behavior. I don't know where she is now, and I don't care. Because I didn't win her back. I didn't destroy her. I simply made sure the lie didn't survive me. And that was enough.